These mini Australian Labradoodle puppies are 4 weeks old. And in today's video, we're going to watch them play. We're going to see them chewing on my toes, chewing on their toys. We're going to talk about what they've been up to this past week, what's coming up for them in the next week, and we're also going to talk about rabies vaccinations and where it is safe to socialize your puppy. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these little kids are just doing fabulously. These are our petite Labradoodle puppies from the Petite Noir litter. Mama Noisette is starting vaguely to wean them. Noisette is not in here with us, as you can see today. She is choosing to spend more time away from her puppies. Noisette's a very dedicated mom. She and Belle are very similar in their mom styles. They're very devoted girls, and they do like to remain very close by. So that means weaning sometimes takes a little bit longer than with other litters. But the puppies have seen some solid food this week. So far, no, they don't think it's particularly interesting. It certainly doesn't appeal to them anywhere near as much as Mama Noisette's milk bar does. So these little Labradoodles are just going to be nursing for a few more days before we really get serious about showing them more solid food. And now sometimes when we have puppies who aren't particularly interested in the milk and pablum mixture, they wait till they're 5 weeks old and they go straight from the milk bar to raw food. Just depends. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no magic in doing it with the pablum and goat's milk route. It's absolutely fine to go straight from the milk bar over to the raw food. But really, we just let the puppies tell us, and we let our moms tell us as well. And like I said, this is Noisette's last litter, so we're very familiar with her parenting style. We know how she likes to do things, what her litters in the past have been like, so it's a little bit easier to know what to expect. Now, Pink Color Girl here is chewing on my fingers, and a couple of them were chewing on my toes before that. And we can feel when they do this that they've got teeth. Yes, they're all coming through. So Pink Color's got quite a good number of teeth. A couple of them don't have hardly any teeth at all. They just got the nubs. But that means, and you have teeth because I can feel that when you bite my tummy. Yes, I can, Mr. Blue. So that means it's important now that we have the toys out for them that help them relieve that teething discomfort. So this pink and brown braided rope giraffe toy here, this is something that is more for the puppies who do have their teeth in. It's a little bit harder to get through, but it does provide some good resistance. And then the ears are nice and small, so it's really easy for a small mouth to get on the ears, the tail, and the legs. And then as they get more and more teeth, they can go to the larger parts on the body here. And now you see quite a few of them here with this blue fuzzy toy. Now the reason this one is in here is primarily for the texture, also for the shape. It's a roly-poly shape. It's easy for them to navigate around. It's got feet that you can see here sticking out, so again, a smaller place. This is great when you don't have all of your teeth because it's softer. It's not as difficult to navigate as this one. And this guy has, he had a squeaker, maybe, oh, nope, his squeaker is dead, so no squeaking benefit from this guy. But you'll see, this is supposed to be a hedgehog. You'll see how there's the little nose here, very small ears, the 4 legs, then there's the fuzzy feeling here and the soft feeling here. This is a particularly excellent toy for puppies because it does provide all of those different textures in their mouths. It also gives them all sorts of different opportunities depending on where they're at in the teething journey. Also, because of its shape, they can roll it around and play with it really easily. It very much mimics a puppy because it's a soft, round, roly-poly thing, just like all of them are. And then Mr. Caterpillar here, he makes a neat noise, which is different, something they're not used to. There's all sorts of different parts to Mr. Caterpillar. Again, there's all sorts of different textures, and there's the smaller, whatever these are called, antenna, for them to chew on if they're not quite ready to get their teeth into the larger part. And it's a good toy too because more than one puppy can play at one time with it. So this is a good way for them to start to play cooperatively. And then we've got the teddy bear over by the crate. He looks like he's crashed out at the moment. He's just there so that they become accustomed to having something near their sleeping area. They sleep in the crate, and they also sleep over here in the crate bed that has the blanket in it. And the reason we've got the blanket in it is to make sure they recognize that this texture, this texture is different from the pee pad texture, and they remember that they need to go to the bathroom on the pee pad and not on where they're sleeping. It also has these fringed edges, which is something good as well to tug on and to gnaw on. Ouchie, there we go. So now why do we let them, oh, Randall, can you just get me a paper towel? Mr. Green Collar had a poop here. So we're just gonna clean that up so everybody doesn't walk through it. Thank you. There we go. Because Noisette's not here, I'm on the poop duty, and we'll just get that all cleared up here. Let's get Mr. Green out of the way. There we go. Yeah, we don't want everybody stepping in it and getting it all over the place. Thank you very much. Thank you. There we go. There. Now, as I was saying, they are chewing on my feet and they're chewing on my hands, and I'm letting them. And now you're probably wondering, well, why on earth am I letting them? Aren't I supposed to be showing them that we don't want them to chew on us? Well, before we can teach them that we don't want them to chew on us, we have to let them learn what our skin feels like, what it tastes like, what it smells like. So that's what we're doing, and that's the reason for allowing them to be able to gnaw on us at this age. Plus, it doesn't hurt enough yet, because that's why we want to get them started. And then by the time we move on to where we're teaching them not to do it, that's when their teeth are sharp enough that it starts to become uncomfortable. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about vaccinations. For all of the families in our Petite Noir Labradoodle litter, we would encourage you please to go and watch episode 5 of the Confetti Sprinkles playlist. In that we talk a lot about where it is and isn't safe for your puppy to be socialized, and we talk about vaccinations and immunity and why and how vaccinations work. But now today we're going to talk about rabies because they are different from other vaccinations. Rabies are a little bit more difficult for a dog system to deal with. So we're going to ask all of you to wait until your puppy is 6 months old before you give them a rabies shot. Now before, we used to have some families who were traveling back and forth to the States before their puppy was 6 months, and so they would give their rabies shot early. However, you can now no longer enter the United States from anywhere in the world with any dog for any reason who is under 6 months old. So there's no reason for your dog to be vaccinated prior to 6 months. So we're going to tell all of you to wait, because that allows your puppy to develop a little bit more of a robust internal immune system, so that when they get the rabies vaccination, they are more readily able to cope with it. So what is it that's in the rabies vaccine that's so problematic? Is it the killed virus itself? Not at all. It's the medium that it's in. It's the vaccine that dogs are most likely to have an allergic reaction to. And so that's why we say it's hard on them, and why we want them to have a bit more immunity. We want them to have built up their tolerance for things so that when they get the vaccine, it is less likely to cause an issue. Now, when you're getting your titer testing done, unless you live somewhere, and I believe Ontario is the only province in Canada that requires that your dog have a rabies vaccination, you don't need to titer test for it. Rabies vaccines last for at least 3 years. Now, we choose not to vaccinate our dogs against rabies. We feel that the risk is so low that it's not worth the risk of the vaccine. This is a totally personal decision to make with your dog. Were there a risk of rabies if all of a sudden there was big outbreak of rabies cases on Vancouver Island? We would definitely have our dogs vaccinated. We have in the past had them vaccinated once when there was a series of rabid bat incidents on the island. And we felt then that the risk was definitely there, and so we went ahead and vaccinated them. All our dogs at that time were over 3 years old. In fact, I think they were probably all over 5 years old, if I remember rightly, because it was 3 years ago, I believe. So everyone was over 5. And there was no problem. Reynolds Noisette is just trying to see Orca's puppies there. Sorry, Noisette, it doesn't want to be in here with her puppies, but she's trying to go in and visit Orca's puppies to make sure that they're all behaving. She is a wonderful mother. So it's totally a personal decision what you want to do with the rabies vaccine. Now we check our puppy's immunity, and you'll learn all about this in the confetti sprinkles episode 5 video I was just speaking of. We test whether the vaccine's immunity is still in effect for our puppies once every 3 years with a titer test. It's very inexpensive to do a titer test for parvo and distemper. For rabies, it's more expensive. So unless you live in a province that requires by law that your dog proves their immunity to rabies, don't bother with the titer testing. It's expensive, and 99.99999% of the time, the vaccine will be good permanently. Once you've had the 2 rabies vaccines, you have one, a year later you get the second. And that is it. You should be done for life, just like with parvo and distemper. But if that is the rule in Ontario, you have to prove your dog's immunity, then you will have to choose whether you wish to titer test or revaccinate. Titer testing is more expensive. Revaccinating is more high risk for your dog's well-being. So totally up to you what you decide to do there. I recommend, of course, you speak to your vet, and of course reach out to me if you're one of our families, and we can discuss it in more detail. It's definitely something that you want to take some time and research. So now what about where should you take your dog, or who should your dog be playing with before they have all of their vaccinations and immunity? Well, if you live on Vancouver Island, it's easy. There's all sorts of Van Isle Doodles that you can hang out with. There's lots of play groups. You can find play dates easily on our community page. You just have to post and you'll get a flurry of responses. It's not whether a dog is vaccinated or not so much that you want to be aware of, but rather where the dog has been. If you're finding that the dog has been to a boarding kennel, the vet, a grooming salon, daycare, or a dog park recently, then you don't want your puppy interacting with that dog. That's the high risk type of dog, because there are large numbers of unknown dogs in those places, and who knows what the heck is going on. Whether a dog is vaccinated or not is not any guarantee of anything, because as we learned during COVID, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can't still shed the virus. So your puppy can go and be interacting with a dog who is vaccinated for everything and still pick up one of the things they're vaccinated for, because the vaccination keeps that dog safe from getting the disease, but that dog can still shed that disease to anyone else. Mostly what you want to look for is people who have dogs that you feel comfortable enough to speak to, ask them where their dog has been, and then determine whether or not you feel it's safe. If it's friends and family, perfect. If it's another Van Isle Doodle, perfect. You can definitely ask all those people, and you can feel relatively secure in having a play date with those dogs. Is it 100% guarantee? No, nothing in life is. And definitely this is not something where you're going to get a guarantee. You want to be using common sense, because if you don't expose your puppy to other dogs, play dates, socialization, you're going to end up with a dog who's fearful, high-strung, and has all sorts of behavioral issues. So it's key that you do expose them, but you do it safely. One thing I really like to do when we have a puppy who we are socializing is to use the front pup pack carrier. So we have those at Curated Canines, the ones that Taylor and I like to use the most. It's a really nice, well-fitting front, it's like a backpack, but it's a front pack. You just pop your puppy in there, their head is out, they're properly supported. You can take your puppy all over the place to be socialized without their feet having to touch the ground. And it's really easy if someone's approaching you and you can tell that they're not going to listen to you about how to approach your puppy, or your puppy's turning away and is fearful. It's easy just to turn your body around and protect your puppy. And when you do that, you teach your puppy that you've got their back and that they can trust you. Now, this is another key thing I want to talk about is when you get your puppy home for the first few days, please don't have everybody over to visit your puppy. Everybody, all your friends and family want to meet your new puppy. They all want to come over, play with your puppy. If you've got kids, all their friends want to come over and meet the new puppy. That's totally overwhelming for the puppy. Your puppy is going from the only place and the people that they know to somewhere they've never been with people they don't know. Remember, your puppy, when they go home at around 8 weeks old, is just like a 2-year-old. So you can imagine if you took a 2-year-old child from their home and placed them somewhere in a strange home and said, here you go, that'd be really frightening. This is one of the reasons we really recommend that you get the puppy starter kit, because that provides so much comfort for them. Oh, it's the crate I'm used to. It's the bed I'm used to. It's the pee pads I'm used to. It's everything that I'm familiar with. It's the harness that they used in Head Start that I learned to walk on. It's the leash that I learned to walk on. It's the same bowls that I'm eating out of. It's the same food. All of those things, they're all really important. And then what you do want to do is have about 3 days where you don't have anyone over, or perhaps 1 or 2 people for a short period of time. And people you're comfortable enough with that you can say, okay, don't do this, don't do that, whatever it is that you need to tell them. The first thing is on the ground to deal with your puppy, not up in the air. In dog world, there's no lifting up. Your puppy needs to have you down at their level, because that's what makes them feel safe and secure and gives them an even playing field with you. They don't want somebody bending over and picking them up in the air and going, oh my gosh, you're so cute. That's very scary. If it's children in particular, you don't want them picking the puppy up. And you want to be able to tell the people to be calm, quiet, respectful, and not coming up to your puppy and going over their head with their hands, because that's absolutely terrifying when you're a little tiny puppy. You want someone that you can tell them what to do when your puppy's biting, tell them all of your cue words, and trust that they'll follow that. Once your puppy's been around for a week to 10 days, then you can go ahead and have more people over. But again, make sure it's people who understand that you approach a dog under their face, not over their head, that they know what to do if the puppy bites, they know what to do if the puppy jumps up, and what your house rules are. So if you've decided, for instance, you don't want your puppy on your furniture, you need to be sure that your guests know that and don't interact with your puppy unless they are on the floor with your puppy. So those are the things you want to do when your puppy first comes home. Now for you, you want to have everything all organized, figured out in your mind, like we started off in the very first episode with, or second episode rather, where the puppy's going to sleep, eat, what door you're using, so you don't have to worry about figuring all of that out when your puppy comes home with you. You too are going to want to remember to be calm, quiet, and you can see the puppies are all sleeping now. They were all playing when we started this video. When you come to your puppy family visit, they'll all come out, say hi. They'll play for most of the hour that you have your visit for, and then they're going to fall asleep. Sleeping is really important for your puppy. And this is one of the reasons why we recommend so strongly that you do have the same items that we do here, because this is where your puppy is able to decompress, relax, and feel like they can just conk right out, because they're growing and they need to sleep. They need to sleep a lot. You'll be surprised how much your puppy sleeps. They go like crazy and then they sleep really hard like they're doing right now. So it's very important that everybody recognize their patterns and allow them that quiet time where they feel safe and secure. So how are you going to do that when they don't know who you are? Well, that's why we want you not to be focusing on other things that you need to worry about, like the door and where they sleep, or getting them used to new things because you don't have the same things as we do. That's where you're going to spend your time building your bond. You want to just be hanging out. Just doing this means you're building your bond with your puppy. They're sleeping or they're getting ready to sleep. You're just kind of calming them down. You're just stroking their fur. And you can be talking. You can be talking to your partner, your children, or talk to yourself if you're single. I talk to myself all the time, and I'm not single. And just talk to them and just use a very calm and even toned voice. And this is what you're going to want to do when you want them to settle down. If they're asking, like Pink is right now, for attention, you can do a snuggle, give them a little bit of a cuddle. All of this in preparation for them sleeping. Let them kiss you, or just you can even talk baby talk. It is scientifically proven that speaking baby talk to puppies is a good thing. So you don't need to feel silly if you talk baby talk to them. What you don't want to do, though, is start rocking them and getting them to fall asleep in your arms. It's very enticing to do that, but you don't want them learning to sleep in your arms. Just like with a baby, you want your baby to learn how to sleep in their bed. You want your puppy to learn how to sleep in their bed as well. So you just calm them down like that with a little snuggle, and then just keep on petting them. And if they are really not ready to sleep, fine, play. Go ahead and play. But as soon as they're ready for sleep, great. Now you've accomplished that. And then when they wake up, you're going to interact with them some more. So basically what you're doing is just showing them who you are, getting them used to you, that they can trust you, that you know what you're doing. You're going to feed them at the right time. You're going to behave with them appropriately, and that you're going to be there to protect them from anything that is too frightening for them. So now while they're all dozy, we're going to do exactly what I just said not to do, and that's disturb them. But that's okay. If you do have to disturb your sleeping puppy, the world's not going to come to an end by any means. And I'm going to disturb them all now and tell you what their current weights are. And I can tell you, as soon as I get this up again, the biggest puppy in the litter this week is a Thai. It's pink and silver. They're both 1.47 kilograms. And the smallest puppy in the litter is yellow at 1.1 kilograms. So everybody's broken the kilogram mark. They're all really fairly consistent in their weights. Pink is a really nice solid girl. We'll take a look at her first because we always do these things in birth order. So at 1.47 kilograms, she's just a lovely weight for this age. And you can see she's got a nice amount of heft to her. This is what we want to see in an ALD puppy. She's got a really cute little head, nice high ears. This little girl is a sweet girl. She's fairly active. She likes to be up a little bit more than her brothers at this point in time. And this is the puppy that we're really hoping we will be holding back as a breeding prospect. And our guardian, Pamela, and her family will be able to take this little sweetie home. And I can tell you she already has a name if she does make the cut. And I'm going to give you a clue as to what it is. It means cinnamon in Spanish. So see if you can figure out what her name's going to be. And then our next little sweetheart is Blue Collar Boy. And Blue Collar Boy is just over here. Hey, you, come here. Oh, you just were getting comfortable, and now I've disturbed you. Yeah. Blue Collar Boy is our little blonde caramel guy. He's a real sweetie pie, gentle. All the puppies in this litter are very gentle. They're very kind puppies with very sweet dispositions. Mr. Blue weighs 1.23 kilograms, so he's a really nice weight as well. Just doing great. Nice little puppy, well put together, and just the sweetest little disposition. Yes, just a little cutie. I'm sorry to have disturbed your sleep. And then after that, we have Green Collar Boy, who is also a blonde caramel. I'm just waiting for Blue Collar to get off my hand there. There we go. Hey, Green. Green is a little bit blonder than Blue, but that doesn't mean anything in terms long term. It's quite likely they'll end up the same color afterwards. Green's got some white markings on his face, but he'll lighten up as he gets older, and as that happens, those white markings will be less prominent. You'll still see them to a degree, but not quite as strongly as his color lightens. His ears will stay dark though. That's my baby. And this little handsome boy is 1.14 kilograms. Hey, yes, you're just doing great. He's a real sweetheart too. He was the smallest for the longest time, and he learned how to stand up for himself. So he's really good about figuring out how to get what he needs. Very good problem solver. Then we've got Yellow Collar Boy, who is the other beautiful dark chocolate here. These dark chocolates are just gorgeous. And because Noisette has retained her dark chocolate color throughout her life, chances are these puppies are also going to remain dark, something that is not easy to obtain in any breed of dog. Hey, sweetheart. Mr. Yellow, well, my goodness, he is right at the moment got this breeding quality head going on. Beautiful, beautiful shaped head for an ALD. Gorgeous, cute little tiny high set ears, lovely stubby nose, and a beautiful strong stop. The stop is right here where the nose ends and the forehead begins. And in ALDs, you're looking for a really strong stop like this, not a sloping face. And Mr. Lello, our smallest boy, is 1.1 kilograms. And even though he's small, he's beautifully put together. He's not scrawny or anything. He's just a little bit smaller. Then we have Red Collar Boy. Hello. Red Collar is our red caramel. It's just why we picked that red collar to go with this beautiful red caramel color. And he's got, now will this dog fade? Perhaps, again, because Noisette is darker, the chances are less. In her lines, we have non-fading dogs. And if he brushes coat backwards at the moment right now, it's pretty much the same, which is generally a good indication that they'll hold their color, but no guarantee. And who cares? It's what's inside that matters, not what color the dog is. Mr. Red is 1.28 kilograms. And then last but not least is our tie for first place in terms of weight, Mr. Silver Collar over here. Mr. Silver Collar is also a red caramel, but a little bit lighter than Mr. Red Collar is. But still, he's got that red face, red coloring, and he's got lots more white on him. He's got lots of white going on the face, around the nose, up the middle of the head. And he's just kind of dozy right now. He's having his nap. And like I said, he's tied for first place, weighing in at 1.47 kilograms, I believe it is. Of course, my phone decided to lock itself. Yes, 1.47. So that's everybody for this week. We hope you enjoyed this update. We'd love to when you take the time to leave us some comments, ask questions if you have any, or just say hello. We love to chat with you, and it's really super helpful for us in terms of YouTube's algorithm when we do get your comments. So we always appreciate those. And we hope that if you are one of the families on this list, that you are watching the updates for the other litters that we have at the moment, because in each one we try to tell you something a little bit different. So it's really helpful for you. You get to learn more. It makes your transition easier when you bring your puppy home, and makes everybody more successful. So we hope to see you again for our next episode, and thanks so much for watching.